is the Two Marketeers podcast, where hosts and marketing experts Sean Patrick and Lindsay Waugh seek to uncover what makes brands so powerful in how they impact modern society and culture.
Two Marketeers. They've got a podcast. The Two Marketeers podcast.
Season 5, baby.
Season 5. Welcome to the Two Marketeers Season 5.
That's Lindsay Waugh.
Hello. And that's Sean Patrick.
Yo, 5 seasons in. Well, 4 seasons in. You know, it's that whole idea that I guess I'm in my 56th year, which really sucks. But being 55 is fine.
Okay. Everyone keeps telling me 50s are the best.
They're awesome. Yeah, they are. Because you don't have kids anymore. If you play your cards right.
I'm listening.
No, I'm not saying that. Not that they'd listen.
Yeah. They'd be like, okay, Dad, whatever.
The question we always ask ourselves, is anyone really listening?
Is this thing on? Doot, doot, doot.
We don't care.
Hello. Yeah. Anyways, we've moved on. We've moved on from that.
We're always moving on.
Welcome back, Sean. Great to see ya.
You too. How was your summer?
Summer was great. Flew by. It was nice to have a little break, but I am pumped to be back recording with you.
Flying by is always a good thing. Just like our seasons, they fly by. And here we are beginning our...
Wait, this is our 90th episode. Remember how last season was 89?
Yeah.
90th episode.
I'm going to use that video just for your face. You did the...
Wait a sec. Happy 90th episode. In 10 episodes, we will be 100 episodes in. Can you believe it, folks?
So that's sometime mid-season, right? Because we got this season is season 5. We have a theme we're going to talk about. We got 20 episodes ahead of us every 2 weeks. It's about all we can manage. 30 minutes every 2 weeks. And welcome back, marketeers. And if you're new,
welcome.
We hope you enjoy. So let's talk about, before we talk about the theme, let's talk about where we left off, right? We always end our season with sort of like top learnings and that sort of thing. And we did, but what was really interesting was at that time, we had both just gone through this AI course, respectively. I think yours was more like a master class. Mine, I was auditing one specific to marketers. And essentially, we were feeling, I would say, a little vulnerable. We had both heard examples. I know Lindsay's was specifically around, you can do a podcast thanks to AI. You could do an entire season in about an hour or something like that, or an hour of your effort.
I put that trauma aside. I forgot about that trauma on the dock this summer.
Okay, good. Because I think because you forget it, you forgot it, you left feeling vulnerable, and now you come back feeling empowered.
Yes, I have turned a corner on the AI discussion. We're turning fear into opportunity.
Exactly. Fear into excitement, threat into opportunity, still banging the same drum of, what's happening to creativity. Is it gone away? Is AI in particular something that we see as a big threat to our creativity or the industry that is marketing and its creative aspect? So our theme this season is creative crisis, right? That feeling of what do you do when something like technology, too good to be true technology, is threatening to replace what you do for free, for cheap, and so much faster. And I mean, sure, that has a benefit, and you can see why people would want that. But then there's the other side of the coin where, oh God, how am I going to make money?
Yeah.
As the creative mind, the creative thinker, I get paid for my time to do the research, to kind of, take all that and then process it with the brain I've had for 50 years and all the experiences I've had, and come out with the best possible solution, depending on what that problem is for every client.
I think it's also like what will happen to my own personal creativity when I start to outsource creative thinking and problem solving. Like, if I keep using these tools, am I going to be as creative as I always was? Am I going to still be a great problem solver? Am I outsourcing too much of that? And is it going to dilute the value I can bring?
Well, yes. And on top of that, am I ready to learn a whole new set of tools? Like, look at me. I look 80, right?
I mean, you look like a wise guy.
Exactly. We'll leave it
Yeah.
at that. Yeah, it's, we all have our own experiences, and I'm seeing a lot of different perspectives on, okay, AI is great. But what's this familiar feeling of vulnerability and uncomfort or discomfort that I'm feeling? What's that tension? And I would say at the root of it for me, because of what I do being my livelihood and how my brain works being such an important part of that, when my two options are make yourself obsolete because maybe now it's time, or get into learning mode and motivate yourself for yet another challenge, that's the sort of crossroads that I think a lot of us are at. And then there's others who are like, don't have enough experience to know better either way, and all they have to guide them is what other people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
So,
like us,
like
we are those people.
Yeah, but we're right.
We are what those people are saying.
We've turned a corner. We came back and we're both really excited. Do I use AI a little bit more at a time? Half the time it's great, half the time it's terrifying or frustrating. But I will say I've come to the sort of place where it's inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
And I have two ways of looking at it. Can look at it as a threat, or I can look at it as an opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the opportunity. So how do we make sure AI makes us better, makes the creative ideas we come up with, the solutions better? And that's exciting. That's the exciting side.
Yeah, that's really exciting. And I think when we are talking about like the creativity crisis, I think technology and AI is kind of only one element of it that we're going to get into this season. Like when you think about the reason why we feel that creativity is in crisis mode is like so many factors. So AI and technology is one, shrinking budgets is another, the economy is another, the like way that models and ways of working are transforming is another thing that's like contributing to how creativity works and how it comes to life and like how you get the best creative. So like, for instance, we work in advertising and marketing. So like agency models and hybrid ways of working and freelancing teams, like all of these things are contributing to what we're calling this creativity crisis. And I think that's really what we're going to spend this season talking about is what are the factors that are going on that have people in crisis mode, one of them being AI and technology. And then like, where are the opportunities around that? Because I think that we still firmly believe that putting barriers in place or guidelines, putting restrictions on people and guardrails and helping them or focusing them in certain ways can lead to more innovative solutions. It can lead to better creativity. It can lead to some really breakthrough thoughts and ideas in campaigns and like all of these things with regards to brands and marketing. Yeah. So AI is one of the threats, one of the opportunities, and so are many other things. But I think what we want to focus on is like, what are the opportunities that are coming out of this crisis mode? And like, how do we use that to create kind of brilliant work with regards to like brands and marketing moving forward? So we're putting a positive spin on it. Aren't we? We're sick of being scared. We're sick of being scared.
We're tired of being sick. We're sick of being scared. And we're scared of being tired.
Yes.
Like that?
I mean, yeah.
A lot of feels. And that's what I think is a pervasive mindset of what we call scarcity, right? Thinking that everything is running out and you got to grab it now or you'll miss out. And it creates a very competitive environment. which is great for some in business. It's not great for others in business, especially when it comes to creativity. The thing that drives human creativity is the ability to have time to think and not worry about everything. You just need to think about the problem you're trying to solve.
Yeah, I would totally agree.
Because what I know from my experiences and my own beliefs, so they're just my beliefs, is that creativity is human, and only humans have the ability to be creative.
Mm-hmm.
Soapbox moment.
And I think like this idea of scarcity, just it forces people to change. So one of the ways that you change, like in regards to like scarcity, it's like we need to be able to do things faster. We need smaller teams. We need to be able to be more nimble, more agile. We need to like still have a ton of thinking, but it can't happen in this with this amount of money and with this amount of people and with this amount of time. So it forces you to change in like many ways. And one of them is bringing in tools. Another one of them is like designing teams differently. Like we were speaking about this yesterday, where like challenges that used to be tackled by teams of 20 people now can be tackled by teams of 2, teams of 3. When you think about the opportunity to use tools, to use minds in different ways, to use people who are more experienced, to bring in like different combinations of junior resources and senior resources. And I think these like scarcity moments force us to re-envision how all of the work can get done. And I think with regards to creativity, we are in that mode where I think crisis pops up more in like blips rather than these kind of big shifts. Like, remember, I think it was in season 3. I don't even think it was in season 4, where we were talking about the metaverse. And we were like, oh my God, people are not going to have real world interactions anymore. Like, people are going to build these worlds in the metaverse, and they're not going to come out to events, and they're not going to come out to they're going to buy like little pieces of clothing from Balenciaga for their avatars and not buy real clothes anymore. Like all that stuff. No, it's not the case. Like these things don't take off maybe as much as you think in the beginning when you're in these like scarcity crisis like modes. And then you start to crack the idea of like abundance if you think about it differently. If you think about resources and tools and all of that stuff differently, the work can still get done. It's done in a different way. And you need people who are those agile thinkers who are going to embrace the future and how you can get things done in a world where there's a lot of restriction.
So, you really just have to change that mindset of fast, competitive, do it now. That's how the majority of people think. We think like that as consumers. We love a good sale. We buy stuff, but because it's running out, we love that. In business, it's quite pervasive because it's how a lot of businesses make their money, right? Being competitive, winning, winner, loser kind of approach. When you take away that pressure, it's merely a mindset. Doesn't mean it's not there. When you shift that to be what's referred to as an abundance mindset, there is enough to go around. Everything will work out. I have no idea what that looks like, but right now, I'm not willing to think that way. That's, I think, what we really want to get going is imagine if. Wouldn't it be great if? And with that mindset, then kind of going, okay, I'm okay with that. So what do I need to do? How could I be better? How can I be better equipped? How do I adapt and adopt, or the other way around? How do I adopt the technology the best way for me because it makes me better in the ways I want to be better?
Yeah. And I think when you say like, imagine if, it's not just with regards to like technology. So one is like, imagine if we actually created more creative solutions through technology. It'd be like, imagine if in a recession, we actually marketed better than we ever have before. Or imagine if with a freelance hybrid team, we were able to collaborate more than we ever have before. So it's like taking the scared attitude and saying like, we can't do this with the financial pressures that we have, and translating it into like a more positive outlook to say like, imagine if we did create the best work we ever have under these financial pressures. So it's starting to question the fear and those situations and think about how you may be able to do it differently.
Yeah, I always think of that, it's what we do in our jobs, very scenario kind of journey mapping experience. And the idea is we we tend to, surrounded by those with similar mindsets of that highly competitive, time-based, all that stuff. Hey, that's an important tension. But for some, it's not the tension that facilitates your creativity or your abilities. It's a factor. I said to Lindsay just the other day, it's not like a good deadline, right? To just get you motivated.
Yeah.
But that can't be the only thing that motivates you. A paycheck, all those things. These are all important motivators, but they're probably not going to change. What you can change is how you look at it, how you create a scenario, to Lindsay's point, that says, what if?
Yeah.
So I ask you, Lindsay, we talk about this creative crisis, and I'm coming at it from more of a, personal creativity standpoint, but you're the expert at not just problem solving. That's kind of my thing. Your thing is pinpointing the problem. So I say, so what's the problem? Why is there a crisis, or why is this a thing now?
Yeah, I think there's been there are always many factors that are contributing to people feeling fear in their jobs and feeling like they are in crisis. I think there's many factors in the current moment that have been brewing for years, but haven't necessarily got solutions. So I think some of the factors that are creating this crisis mode are things like continued financial pressures. 5 years ago, it was like budgets are shrinking. 3 years ago, budgets are shrinking. 2 years ago, budgets are shrinking. The budgets are always shrinking.
And yet we're still here.
Yeah, we're still here. The budgets are always shrinking. I think in today's world, you're always going to be pressed to do more with less because of things like technology and platforms. I think there's a lot of other people pressure and people employment pressures as well that are leading to this creativity crisis. Like, we need headcount to be smaller. People still want to work from home or be more agile. There's still a lot of people who desire more of a freelance type of lifestyle, but still want to create great creative work, but don't want to work at companies. If people aren't in the office 4 days a week, are they going to be as creative? Can they collaborate? All of these factors are contributing to crisis.
Yeah.
It's people problems, it's financial problems, it's technology problems. And I think we're sick of thinking of them as problems because
they're just
day,
evolutions, right?
We're like, there's not enough money. There's not enough people. People can't work there. So there's not that. There's technology is just going to create all of this crap. So there's that. So there's so many problems. And it's like, no, like those things, sure, are problems that contribute to a creativity crisis, but they're also massive opportunities.
Well, they're problems we can solve when we know what they are, right?
If you think differently about them. And I think that you and I there's been this pivot. So at the end of last season, we were like, holy crap, AI is coming for us big time. And now we're like, no, it's not. We're coming for you. We're going to figure out the best way to use technology, the best way to thrive during financial pressure, the best way to build teams with freelance, with employees and collaboration to create great work. And it's time to stop being scared.
Yeah, it's the best way to get better.
Yeah.
As negative or positive they are realities. Yeah, budgets are getting smaller, but why? Right?
Yeah.
What about the world of marketing? There was a time that the only companies or the only ones spending money on any marketing were huge brands. Everybody's spending money on marketing. And what's going to happen is they're going to spend it in a lot of cases, just from a consumer standpoint, they're going to spend it on the technology because the technology promises a lot. What it doesn't do is inform you about why those things it does are even relevant to your business or what it is you have to do. So it's a really exciting time for people like Lindsay and I, who are always asking why, and looking at things historically and looking at trends and looking at psychological shit, human stuff. The human brain is fascinating, and taking a little bit of time to think about it. And maybe that's, this is a perfect example. We took summer and we don't talk. We do not talk. She won't take my calls. She leaves her house. Anyways, that's another season. But we don't. And we just go do whatever it is we love to do. And next thing you know, summer has flown by and you have a fresh perspective and you just kind of say, okay, how many of these things are really problems or the problem? And which one of them can I make an impact on as it relates to my value, as it relates to me thriving a little more? That's really a fresh perspective. And perfect timing.
I think we're going to challenge ourselves to say, like, when we first started talking about the creativity crisis, we are like, creativity is in crisis. It is like literally in crisis with the blanket of mediocrity is like what we were calling it in season 5 or season 4. Sorry.
There was also Killing the Creative Human Spirit. Do you remember that one? That was a good one.
Yeah, man. Season 4, we were in a dark place for a minute. We were in a dark place. And now I think we want to say, like, sure, creativity in crisis is in crisis, but like, is it? Like, does it need to be? And if we start to do some of these things, like create great work under financial pressure, use AI to make us better, help fuel our ideas and our creativity, change the model, think about things as hybrid, like continue to champion that stuff. We don't need to be in crisis. We can thrive in this environment. And I think that's the perspective we're going to start to bring forward this season.
As well as to inform and demonstrate to business out there, our potential clients, our existing clients, our peers on the business side. It's up to us to show them the good that it can do.
Mm-hmm.
How much good? What is the good? I don't know yet, but I'm choosing good over evil.
Agreed.
Opportunity over threat, abundance over scarcity.
That's right. I think it's really time for a positive outlook, and I think it's going to be good.
Yeah. The question we're asking ourselves this season is, so what are we going to do about it? You know, is there a crisis? Hey, we're saying it's a crisis because then we have the motivation to figure out what is causing it and make some change.
I think that's perfect. We do think creativity is in crisis, and what are we going to do about it?
Yeah.
Okay, so really excited for season 5. Stay tuned. Every 2 weeks, we're going to launch an episode, and we are super pumped to share all of that with you. So thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Lindsay. It's nice to be back. Marketeers, welcome back, and we'll talk real soon.
Sounds good. Chat soon, Marketeers.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Two Marketeers podcast. New episodes launch every 2 weeks.
Find the Two Marketeers podcast on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you like to listen. And be sure to rate and subscribe.
Listen on our website, thetwomarketeers.ca, or you can ask Alexa to play the Two Marketeers podcast.
Want to keep in touch? Follow the Two Marketeers on LinkedIn or at Two Marketeers on TikTok. We've always got something to share.
This podcast is over.